everyone, and welcome to another episode of 3TB Shorts. And if you're wondering why the hey everyone is sounding a little different today, it's simply because we decided to not let Samiran say that. So Samiran loves to do the introductions to our shorts. I don't know if he loves it or if we force him to do it, whichever the case may be. So today's hey everyone comes from me, and I hope that you have fun with the shorts that we're going to put together for you. For those of you who don't know it, I'm a Gujarati and I love the stock market. So I decided that today was going to be a shorts on the Sensex. I don't know how young our audiences are, but just to give you a sense, what is known today as the Bombay Stock Exchange actually came into being in 1875. Okay. And it was called the Native Share and Stock Brokers Association. And it began with 318 members. This is 1875, guys. Okay. So that's where it began. The Sensex actually got introduced. It actually got introduced really, really late in about 1986, I think. Okay. The first time the Sensex crossed 1,000 points was on July 25, 1990, 4 years after the Sensex was introduced. For those of you who don't follow the stock market, today the Sensex was at 71,500 points. Okay. And that kind of got me thinking and said, has anything grown as much as the Sensex has? And for those of you who want the math done for you, basically the Sensex has had a 70x growth in 34 years. Okay. And I started thinking, saying, what could have grown 70x in 30 odd years? And if you live in Mumbai, the real estate is always something that is top of mind for you when it comes to, an alternative asset class and all of that. So I went back and checked what the real estate growth has been. And it's grown 15x between 1991 and 2021, which is 30 years. Okay. And I said, come on, it can't be. And of course, we run a tech podcast. So how can we not look at the tech industry? So I went back and checked what the tech industry was. So the estimates are that it was about $4 billion in the year 2000. Right? When Y2K happened is when really the numbers started getting put into play. So about $4 billion in 2000. Today, it is about $190 billion. Okay. And when you look at the math, that's still 45x in 23 years. So guys, now you know why what the WTF is one of the most loved podcasts in this country. Okay. I kept wondering why everybody was listening to Nikhil Kamat's podcast, and I love his podcast, honestly. And people spend 3 hours, right, listening to his podcast, and it's really, really interesting and informative and educative, and I love it. But in my head, when you think about it, you say 3 hours on a podcast. And then I said, yeah, if something's grown 70x in 34 years, even I would listen to that podcast for 3 hours.
I was most surprised about real estate. I would have actually, it's very, especially Mumbai, especially Mumbai, I would have, at least it would have equaled, if not. That's very interesting.
Historically, this has been, everyone who does investing will tell you the historically Sensex beats gold, beats real estate, beats everything. It all appears to be more, but it doesn't.
So it started with WTFAs, and then it got me back to the Sensex. And I said, okay, now I know why it is doing so well and why people listen to a podcast, which is sometimes 3 hours long.
So since we have decided to, put Samiran at the very end, I will go with my short capsule of knowledge or information. So it got me, being in Ireland, it got me thinking, Ireland, one of the biggest, and they're sitting on a huge cash pile, and the biggest revenue that they really get is out of corporate taxes, right? So they have created a kind of a tax haven for companies to headquarter in Ireland and save money on taxes. So that got me thinking this whole conundrum around headquarters, right? And how people circumvent multiple rules, whether it's rules, taxes, by doing intelligent headquartering of their companies. So two such episodes I wanted to talk about. First one was interesting. Most of the time we hear in EU, Google or Meta are losing cases and paying hefty fines. This is one case where Meta, Google, and TikTok won a EU case, and the case the case was essentially done by Austrian government. And Austria adopted a certain data privacy kind of a regulations in 2021. So these are new regulations. Even EU has not fully accepted those regulations as yet, and it was around the fact that verifiability of content, right? So they sued Meta, TikTok, and Google, and lo and behold, EU court said that no, Meta, Google, and TikTok are right. They are based in Ireland and they will follow Irish rules. So Austrian rules don't apply. So this was a case where their headquarters being in Ireland helped them. The other interesting news was, I'm sure all of you would have heard about Elon Musk, right? And there is a guy in Delaware. In Delaware court, one of the shareholders of Tesla just raised, a case, a huge discontent that he is going to be paid 56 billion for 2023 because of a share based pay package, right? And people said this was just disproportionate and cruel to other shareholders and stuff like that. And Delaware court actually ruled against Elon Musk, saying that 56 billion doesn't make any sense. He lost that case, and lo and behold, he has decided to move the headquarters of Tesla to Texas. So I'm thinking that this is interesting, right? This is how if these are all the corporate financial engineering tactics, I presume. So now he and these days Elon Musk does everything publicly first. So it seems he put up a poll on X saying that should Tesla move to Texas, and I think he got like close to 90% response that yes, Tesla should move to Texas. And now obviously that doesn't mean Tesla headquarters can be moved without the shareholder nod. So now it is going to go into their board meetings and a resolution would be passed. Probably he gets his 56 billion. I don't know which ruling holds. So this is a case of American companies moving around their headquarters to sidestep some rule or regulation. So I found that quite interesting.
This is a new use of crowdsourcing. I mean, if you can't take a decision, crowdsource your decision.
But then he asked, am I doing well in Twitter? And bulk of the people said no. Then he kind of said, no, these are all bots. And then he said, chuck it.
So it's easy, right? Accept what you want.
I mean, what is this new funda of crowdsourcing decision making? Really? Imagine if our government started working like that, and if large organizations started working, and if women at home started working like that. I will crowdsource what I am going to cook today. Come on.
Nothing will get good. Nothing will get cooked.
Exactly.
Only.
Nothing will come out of it, really. Or for all the women who may think that I was being very, very biased by saying women asking about what should I cook today, it could be anything else. Okay. So I wasn't being gender biased at all on that one.
So I was actually going to, I remembered that I was going to talk about this, the science of packing oranges. But then, it kind of became very complicated because apparently
it's not complicated with you, Samiran? Please explain that to us.
No. Then, it got so complicated that, it was about 3 oranges can be packed in a cylinder, 4, 5, 6. But then after 51, it has to be a cluster. Then 55, 56 becomes a cylinder and then it becomes a cluster. Then I remembered my baritone shots and I said, let me keep. And then it went into 3rd, 4th dimension. And then that video talked about 42 dimensions. I said, just out of my league now, totally. So I said, let's not go there. So what I thought instead I'll talk about is a few interesting facts, starting with one where, did you actually know that Albert Einstein was offered the presidency of Israel and he turned it down in 1952? So in fact, the letter was quite funny. He said that I'm deeply moved by the offer and I was saddened and ashamed that I can't take it. But the next sentence is very interesting. It said that all my life I have dealt with objective matters. Hence, I lack both the natural aptitude and experience to deal properly with people and to exercise official function. So it's a fact. He was actually offered the presidency of Israel and he turned it down. The next interesting one I thought I'll talk about is that, if you look at anything, you will realize that the color purple has always been associated with royalty. So then I got wondering, what is the deal with that? So, logically, it seems that obviously the cost of creating the purple dye was the most, it was very expensive to create purple dye. And it kind of, here is where it gets really interesting and yucky. It kind of came from the gland of a predatory sea seal. So that and it was extremely smelly and had all the other lovely stuff going with it. But somewhere in the 1900s, they were able to create the color synthetically. But basically, the dye itself was difficult to generate, the color purple. So that's the story of purple and royalty. And the last interesting question I have for you is that, so this is very funny that Abraham Lincoln apparently was the first US president to have a beard. And then there was a trend of people with facial hair and sideburns and all of that. But the last US president to have a beard was William Howard Taft. And that was in 1913. And after that, no US president has had a beard or a mustache. And it is actually considered, like basically it's bad on the campaign trail. It's, kind of supposed to be a criminal if you have facial hair, unlike our all Virat Kohli look that everyone's sporting these days in India. Like in the US,
and our politician, our prime minister.
no, in the US you can't. Apparently 1913 was it. So no beard. So no orange packing, but yes, purple and smelly snails and what have you. Those are my shorty shorts.
Good God. I just wonder what role, when did Gillette come into being? Maybe they were the ones who taught the whole world that you have to be clean shaven too.
I'm telling you, if it's America, there must be some fishy commerce reason there. Gillette must have paid American presidents not to shave.
No, to shave. not to shave, to shave. Because they must have gone and told them that if you want to portray a squeaky clean image, then you must have a squeaky clean face.
And squeaky is the key word. Maybe it's squeaky.
So from squeaky clean to toupees, maybe next will be one of those in the American history. Samiran, since I took away the opportunity to start the shorts, maybe you want to end the shorts.
Oh, yes. It's always enjoyable, after that heavy dose of predictions and this thing, that this is always like a stress buster. So, like we keep telling, we kind of came upon this format because we wanted to do just short videos. And then we realized that, the short videos would not do the trick. Let's talk about fun stuff. And I think it's been reasonably well received. And I think, if nothing else, we really, really enjoyed doing it. So I think that comes across in the listening, I hope. But thanks again for listening to this, and do write into us to tell us what you think of the shorts. We really, really enjoy getting them for you. Thank you.